program. Viewer discretion is advised.
Chat, it's gunman, shockwave, Penny, Jill Powers, the River Daughter, Snorta Poopus Cuba, me and my monkey. The immortal Ghost Rider, like a dwarf nine. Roll Tide, Keely Chow, roll Tide, brother. The wrench of wrenches, Chris Berger. It's time to wake the neighbor's voice with Southern Viking. Pacific 414 and the Mad Doctor and Dig Outlaw. Mary's Game Room. Project Cambridge. The Wicked Wrench of the East Project Story Time. Soul Assassin and the Great Googly Moogly Positive Candor. Greetings program and a skull and tuck and roll from Daryl the Derelict. The DJ of DJs, DJ Ronnie G. Quad Sailing. Lester San Jose the Skeptic Tank. Puddle Jumper! Greetings, one and all, and welcome to Taco Tuesday here on Mornings of Mischief. I'm your host, Stone Loki. Good morning, everybody. How's everybody out there doing on this cold winter day? I got two hoodies on this morning because it's too damn cold. It's cold in here. It's cold out there. It's cold no matter what you do. Go to the doctor's office. It's cold. Sit down on a metal table. It's cold. Got to go to work. It's cold. Everywhere it's cold. Well, that's the wintertime, Loki. I mean, come on, man. It's cold. Baby, it's cold outside. Good morning, everybody. If you're waking up and you're cold, I get it. I totally get it. But you know what? I would much rather have it like this than a heat wave. I don't get why people are like, oh, man, I'd rather have it be like 100 degrees. You know how hard it is to keep cool in 100 degrees? You know what you do when it's cold? You bundle. You dress in layers. That is what you do. You get dressed in layers. Coldest room in the house. Right here. Even in the summer, it's still cold. And yeah, so keep it cool. Nice and cool. Play it cool. It's 30 degrees right now. Ooh, bundle. Bundle. Texas heat waves don't play. Oh, that's true. I'll tell you what, man. 106 degrees in the shade on a metal truck bed, rolling off metal bottles. Everything is hot. You're like, hot. It's hot. What do? You got to get in your truck. You got to hit the AC. You got to crank it. And you got to sit there in a pool of your own sweat because it's too damn hot. What do you do when it's cold? You bundle and you wear warm gloves and you get warm. Oh, you can always put on more layers. Only so many you can take off. That's right. That's my thinking on it. Exactly. Project. That is exactly the way I see it. You can always put more layers on and bundle. I'll tell you what, man, when I was still riding bikes, anytime I had to go anywhere and I did. Um, layers. Layers. I had like a face warmer that I'd wear, even with the helmet, a full helmet. That's mainly when I wore a full helmet, was when it was cold, because I was like, mm-mm. But it doesn't look right on that big bike that you got this full helmet on. Well, it's cold and it's Missouri. So no. I'm not gonna wear like the cap, the skull cap when it's freezing cold outside and I need layers. Mm-mm. Not happening. But dude, you'd have thermals, pants, leathers, and you layered. So keep your thermals on, put on a couple of hoodies, get the big leather coat on, layers, everything in layers. Oh, you mean misery? It's not that bad. It's not that bad. Dude, I love the mountains. I love the mountains out there. I love riding my bike in the Ozarks. That was a big thing, man. I loved doing that. I loved riding through the Ozarks and really beautiful country up there. You just got to watch out for all the homeless people living in the woods. And yes, they live in the woods and they come out to eat people. At least those are the stories that I used to tell. 20 degrees, San Augustine Pass, and inadequate gloves. I'm hip. No, we're not doing that. We're not freezing our digits off this morning. No, thank you. True, I've been outside already today cleaning snow off my sidewalk. We've got a chance, Texas. We have a chance to get some snow this week. We'll see what happens. We'll see if it gives it to us or not. I want some snow. Give me some snow. And good morning, everybody. I hope you guys have been having a good week so far. It is nuts what is going on, but we all told them. We all warned them. Did you guys hear the confirmation on the internet project that the last administration had all set up $65 billion, right? You know why nobody took the contracts? And that's what happened. That's what they won't talk about. We now have confirmation this morning that the reason why nobody would take the contracts is you had to hire so many of these people, you had to hire so many of those people, you had to be representative on your trucks of LGBTQ plus when you were laying the line. Imagine telling a company, if you want this government contract and you want to work with us, paint your trucks rainbow, and you have to have all of these different people in management. You have to have all of these people. You can't have any white people working in like your workforce division, your guys laying internet line. You have to have these people doing this. You can't have anybody else. Now, you've already got a small workforce. Okay. It's not like you can just easily replace the people that you've got. You've already got a small workforce and you've got people that are dedicated to the jobs that they do. Why? Because they're the ones who do them, and not every day someone comes along that is going to do these jobs. The government says we're going to make it even harder on you. We're going to be able to make it more difficult on you. Just sign this contract and we'll give you all this money and you can do the job. Do you know how many companies came forward and said, we want to do this job with you, government? Do you know how many miles of cable they laid for high-speed internet? I'll give you a hint. It's a big, empty goose egg. That's what it is. A big, empty goose egg. Nobody took the money. Why? Because you're telling them how they have to build their company, or how they have to restructure their company, or who they need to hire, who they need to fire, who they need to pay, who they don't need to pay. And the government is now in control. Why do you think all of these people have been like, why don't you just sue and take these people to court? The United States government is the one involved in this. You can't work and do a government job without all of these restrictions and all of these things and all of these demands that you have to fulfill if you want this job. Do you want to know why they spent $7 billion on 7 Tesla stations because there's only one company, and it was a startup that put in the power stations to charge Teslas and to charge other. Elon's not part of this. Elon doesn't want anything, so he just does his own shit. One company built 7 charging stations in 4 years. One. And it was a startup that started up just to help do this job, just to take some of that government money. Nobody that was doing this, that was already in place, wanted the job. Why? DEI restrictions and bullshit government regulations that you have to follow just to get the job. That doesn't even cover what you're having to do while you have the job. And you wonder why people aren't just left and right suing because they want to play this game. So you want to take a pool of people that are experienced at their jobs. You want to say, okay, you know what? You can't work for us anymore because reasons. And then you want us to go out to a very small part of the population, because that's where they want you getting these people from. It's a very small part, like 1% of the population. And they want you to find experts there and people to promote there and people to do the job there. This is what you want. This is what you want. Well, Loki, why didn't they just give people Starlink at the Elon's thing, right? First, they said that Starlink didn't work. Obviously, they were wrong. Then they said, well, we can't give it because Elon Musk has it and he's not one of us anymore. So, no. So, you're going to do the opposite of what you said you were going to do because Elon, bad. Bad Elon with Orange Man, bad. Did anybody hear about Hogan getting booed in LA? Is anybody surprised that happened last night? Anybody? Anybody? Yeah, but you can get Starlink anywhere without laying any of the cable. I'm just saying. You mail that out in a box. That's all you got to do. Hey, all these areas that you want taken care of, just mail them a box. Here's your free Starlink. Enjoy. You don't want it? Pawn it. And people like my brother who live upstairs. Bravo. DJ Ronnie G. Bravo. It's better than nothing. It is better than nothing. I heard Hogan got booed but didn't see it. Oh, yeah. They were in LA. Is anybody surprised at that? Half of Hollywood was there. And then people were like, oh, well, they didn't boo Undertaker, so I don't think it was political. Yeah, it was political. You know it was political. They didn't boo Undertaker because Undertaker isn't like one of them. Undertaker's Undertaker. Hogan went off and became Hollywood. I'm going to be in movies and I'm going to do this. And he became one of them and had to figure out how twisted and screwed up it was working with all those people. And I'm not saying he doesn't. I'm just saying, is anybody really surprised? He goes out there to promote a beer, a Hogan beer, like a Bud Light alternative, and gets booed out of the building. So I'm not surprised. He's not there to wrestle. You know what? I'm surprised Taker, because Taker said, I'm not, you won't see me on there. I'm not going to do this. Taker riding his bike down there to that damn awful Kid Rock song that I hate. You couldn't hear if they booed Undertaker because he was out on a loud Harley. It's true. It's absolutely positively true. And he came out to that god awful song. Go out to Rollin'. I hate Limp Bizkit, but at least that's a kick-ass song. That Kid Rock song, I'm like, ugh. I'm a cowboy to like Metallica. No, thank you. Come out to Rollin'. keep rolling. Yeah. But I understand he came down as America's badass. And the reason why they did that is because they're going to make her, I guarantee you, they're going to make her the American badass. They're going to start calling her the American badass Rhea Ripley. That was him handing off that moniker, whatever. My brother has DSL because his wife is no longer super fond of Elon. Oh, I can imagine. There are. Does anybody have any issue with Elon calling shit out? I don't. By all means, especially if it's true. I love it when they double down, even though they know, damn, we got caught with our hand in the cookie jar, and they go, "Oh, it's Elon. It's Elon's fault. That dastardly villain, Elon." Welcome to the club, brother. Hashtag blame Loki. Welcome to the club. It's all your fault, Elon. It's all your fault that we know about these girls and what's happening to them. That doesn't need to be the focus of this, though. The focus needs to be on Elon inserting himself into politics. Well, he certainly inserted himself into something, didn't he? He certainly did that. I love Elon calling him out. I love Elon calling him out too. Call him out. And you know what's funny about that? He's saying everything that Trump would. And there's nothing they can do about it. They can sit down. We're going to call the embassy on you. You call the embassy on us. We're going to come and arrest you in America and extradite you to England for the bad memes that you... Bitch, you go right ahead. Come at me. Come at me, bro. Come on. Come on. I'm right here. I'm on social media. He's inciting insurrection. Good boys. Good chaps. He's inciting insurrection. By all means, come and get me. Come and get me. Extradite me, motherfuckers. See what happens. See what happens. Extradite me and make it a thing. You do that. I don't care if some of Elon's ideas like self-driving cars and trying to go to Mars to make a base. We have so many problems here. I think it's got to start somewhere. I'm sure that there were plenty of people that were like, they don't need to sail off on those 4 ships and go look for another place to live. But if they didn't, we wouldn't be here today. Holy shit. If he can get him to Mars, get him to Mars. Do you know what the first people that go to Mars are going to do? They're probably going to die on Mars. They probably will not make it. They will die there. Why? Insufficient supplies. Now, if we had a whole bunch of shit, because there's all kinds of things that can happen. Most likely, they will die there. They will never come back. So it's a one-way ticket. That's something you got to realize, and it's something you got to accept. And it's going to be hard-ass work. It's not going to be like, no, this is going to be, yeah, it's yours, but you've got a life of hard work ahead of you. You've got a life of service to a new place. It will take hundreds and hundreds of years to terraform Mars, to make it even halfway livable. So they've got a long ass road ahead. It's not like they're going to just snap their fingers and suddenly they will have Mars working and the doors are open. And welcome, you get a chance to live again in a glorious new colony. Does anybody remember Blade Runner? Does anybody remember Blade Runner? How many Blade Runner fans we got in here? Let me raise original OG Blade Runners. Do you remember the commercials in the movie where you'd get like the float would be flying over and it'd be like, find a new life on a faraway colony. They're sending them there to die. It's not anything like what you think. You think, oh, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna find this. They're gonna take me to this planet and it's gonna have green grass and it's going to be clean, and there's going to be all no. It's going to be no. It's going to be like that damn thing in Alien, in the last Alien movie, where the company has you working in the mines and like 10 people die a day. Okay, it's not going to the blimp ads. Yes, absolutely. That's what it's going to be like. That's what it was like in Blade Runner. They just never told you that. Why do you think they had kill teams of androids ready to put down any kind of insurrection? Okay, Roy Batty and the other androids, the other synths, they were there to put down insurrections and to deal with bullshit. Why? Because people got there and then they realized they didn't want to be there. They'd rather go back and roll the dice on Earth. Well, guess what? You're not going back. They put your ass in a seat and they FedEx you to another planet. And now you're going to do what they want on that other planet. There's no going back. There's no, well, I'll go back to Earth. No. No, why? Because there just aren't the resources to do that. You're not going back. Good morning, Arwen. Lurking this morning. The heater people are here working, and I'm finally going to have heat again. Arwen, it's too cold. Warm your ass up, woman. I'm sure there are guys out there that are like, ooh, Arwen, cold, nipply. But warm your ass up. Get warm. Get toasty. I'm glad you got your heater fixed. Skull. That depends, really. The number of planets in the Cinderella zone of newly discovered stars is pretty good. You got to worry about air. You got to worry about the right kind of air. You've got to worry about disease. You've got to worry about viruses. You've got to worry about flora and fauna. I can just see a damn plant creature eating someone the first day. No, that's a big no for me. Who here used to go to a science class that actually like showed the videos of like the meanest flytrap and all that shit? That I could watch Nightmare on Elm Street. I could watch Freddy Krueger. I could watch Dracula. I could watch Bram Stoker's. I could watch all that shit back in the day. But the idea of like slowly being digested over the course, the Sarlacc pit, no, thank you. That is oogly boogly no. That is a big no. Viruses like pox. Shout out to Snowdub and Tom this morning. Good morning, gentlemen. The heater people. You mean men came to fix your shit? Oh my God, Cotton. We all know. We all know. So they can. Elon's got his way of doing things. Elon's going to do his way of doing things. And if you want to be the most inefficient hiring bullshitters ever, work with the government under democratic rule. Because God help me. How can you have $65 billion to lay cable and you can't get a company to work with you because of your bullshit that you implement on them and that they have to follow if they want the job? We will make sure that you have this many people. You will send us monthly. I got to hire somebody just to send y'all shit? No, absolutely not. And everybody said, no, we don't want it. We don't want to do it. So no internet. And then they bitch about it. Well, we couldn't get it. And they don't want to tell you. They want to tell you what happened because then they're admitting the hard part out loud. They fucked around and found out. Which goes back to the exact same shit. Who do you want on the job? You want the best people for the job. It's that simple. Ironcaster, what's up, brother? Justice for the puppet hole. It's El Perro. I told you. It's El Perro. He's got that new poodle place, the poodle hole, and he's burning up the competition. Justice for the puppets, justice for Le Puppet Hole. Get rid of that dog El Perro. Holy crap. I'm waiting for January 20th to call and drop a dime on the local VA and how they've been denying me and other vets treatment. What? That is insanity. Hey, excuse me, are you an immigrant? Do you feel like you're trapped in the wrong body? Here, fill this out and we'll get you all this treatment right away. And a vet can't get treatment. This is the kind of shit that it makes no sense. And then it's your fault. Did anybody catch that Bill Maher segment where he had that idiot on there that played Lex Luthor on Supergirl? And he's like, the majority of Americans showed us exactly who they are. They're ists and obes and Yahtzees. And they hate the trans community. They demonize us. And I'm like, excuse me? Really? The majority of Americans are ists, obes, and Yahtzees. This is actors. This is Hollywood talking. The majority of Americans are ists, obes, and Yahtzees. It's all our fault that come on la lost. And you should look at reflection and know that this is the only way. This is the only way to redeem yourselves in the eyes of people that pretend for a living is to vote into power who they want. If you do not know that, if you do not subscribe to that, you are this thing that they absolutely hate, that they want nothing to do with. Don't have anything to do with the majority of the country then. Don't make movies for the majority of the country. They're already doing that. See how well that works out. If you'll notice, the immigrants aren't the ones carving their genitals up. Interesting how that works, isn't it? And they're the ones that have apparently access to it right there in their jail cell. At any point in time, you can declare yourself a woman and get super special treatment. I wonder if that's why he did it, Cotton. I'm wondering if that's why, Justine put on a dress the other day and did it because of you can't touch him. Can't say anything. You're barred from saying anything. And yeah, people are going to say it anyway. People say it anyway. People talk about it anyway. Why? Because you're not going to keep people from talking about it. Do you know what the biggest thing is with this shit going on in England? People are discussing it and people are talking about it and people are commenting about it. And they absolutely hate that. Bad pull, Elon. Bad pull. Oh, chap. He said the easy part out loud. That's what's funny, is he said the easy part out loud. He called out the problem. That's the easy part. How do you fix the problem? That's the hard part. How do you fix the problem? You have to vote all these fucknuts out and replace them with people that are going to let this shit happen. And then you got to go to the police force that's been absolutely pussified over the last decade and told that they've got to have joy feelings and all around them. And get rid of the ones that absolutely positively will not change. The granny blonde, all of them that think that they can just, we can do whatever we want because we're the police, but you can't make a meme. Get rid of them. Get rid of them. Go. Goodbye. No. Put up new qualifications. This is what you have to do to continue working here and weed out the people that have sat there and abused people while this shit has gone on. We're not going to do it. We're absolutely not going to do it. What is up, Snowdub with $2 super chat? And he says, Skull and tuck and roll. Mr. Roch is asking for Mim. He wants Mim? He wants a Mim? We'll give him a Mim. What kind of Mim do we want? Oh no, that brown and Mexican Iron Man. How about him jumping out of, you want jumping out a window or Mexican Iron Man becoming Mexican Iron Man? I think we'll do the jumping out the window because it's Mike. Go and tuck and roll. MB Geeks Bar and Grill with $5 super chat. What is up, MB Geek? Good morning, brother. He says they wake up every day like it is 1/6/2021. They live like it is Groundhog Day every day since. Get rid of the 30 plus years in power. Term limits. Term limits. None of them want to hear it. None of them want to accept it. Term limits. 2 terms. That's it. You're gone. You're out of here. You're finito. Finished. Go out. 2 terms. You can serve 2 terms in the House. You can serve 2 terms in the Senate. But, bitch, it's musical chairs. Get in, get out. You don't get your job back. Why? Why, Loki? With the experience and the blah, blah, blah. No. They have experience with holding your arm behind their back and twisting to get every penny out of you. Why? Because you're paying for all of this. You're paying for the DEI initiative that they want just to lay a cable down the street and in people's backyards. Imagine that. Imagine the optics of this. I want you to think about this. Okay? Who pays attention to the people burying cable on the side of the road and installing fiber optic lines? How many of you have followed a crew around and observed them and taken note of who works there? How many? I'll wait. Raise your hands. Raise your hands if you ever paid attention and sat there and observed a group of guys laying down fiber optic cable. Or if you just drove by and been like, oh, look, cable crew. DJ, you're one of a kind, dude. One of a kind. Because you notice shit like that. I noticed the lady construction workers. I love that. That's brilliant. Thank you. Okay, well, these will all be blue-haired landwells that are all Karens. All arguing about how, oh, if we do it, 1 inch to the left, it'll be better, or 1 inch to the right, it'll be better, or whatever. No, we're not doing that. We're just going to put the damn cable in the ground and go. And do as much as possible. Why? Because this is your dime. You are paying for it. All of this are things that you pay for. Guess what? Ubisoft crashing, that 85% loss they took, you're responsible for that. But you're also responsible for all the DEI bullshit funding they got. But Loki, I didn't want them to do that. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. But the people that got voted into power, that gave them tens and hundreds of millions of dollars for these projects and this push, that money came from you. The money that made that Alec Baldwin movie, whatever it was, Rusk, whatever. The money, the millions of dollars that they got to make that movie came from you. It's taxpayer money. That was all coof money. They were just giving it away. That's why Alec was so like, oh my God, we got to finish this and we got to finish it like it was yesterday. Because they were paying the bill. Alec wasn't. The government was paying the bill. All this DEI bullshit crap that's been going on has been pushed by the government. It's being pushed by the government in England. It's being pushed by the government here. It's being pushed by the government in France and Germany and all this bullshit. In Canada, God help me. Let me tell you, and if I insult you, Canadians, my apologies to you. Screw your government. This shit of I am going to be stepping down in so many months. I can see a leader. I can see someone saying, you know what, I'll be here till you get the next guy in. Honestly, I'd be like, you can go. We'll figure it out without you. But this whole I've turned this in and I expect these kind of results from the government. I expect this kind of action to be carried out. I expect no, bitch. You just resigned. You just said I quit. Now, there's a lot of people that have come up with all kinds of reasons. Supposedly, we're supposed to be getting a look at some kind of book that might have Trudy's name in it. We'll see. One of Trudy's friends got arrested for some pretty insane stuff. So we'll see. Everybody can make guesses as to why. But this whole like we're gonna take up to a year, up to October to figure our shit out. No. No, you can have an election in like a week or two. No. You just throw it in the hat, let them campaign, do a couple months of campaign, and you hire someone, and then they take over the job. He's got the rainbow bright socks. Yes, he's got the rainbow bright socks. I saw a video yesterday before his little resignation speech, which was just of a lady in Vancouver, Canada, coming up to him, and she's like, Mr. Prime Minister. He's like, yes, how are you today? My lovely dear. And she's like, I'm good. Get the F out of BC. And he's like, oh, thank you so very much. And I was like, wow, that's incredible. Not only is it incredible, she could just walk up to him and be like, get the F out, but without, Secret Service or whatever everywhere. It's incredible that he kept his smile the whole time. I was like, I get this all the time. Nobody likes me. Everybody hates me. I want to eat some worms. Ironcaster dude's been a member for 22 months. What is up, brother? This the best part was how Trudy's resignation speech blew away in the wind from the podium just as he was stepping out to deliver it. And yeah, Cotton knows what I'm talking about. Cotton knows where I'm going with that little book. The Epstein list is ever revealed. It'll be a cherry picked list of scapegoats. They're cool with throwing under the bus. Yes, absolutely. Unless it somehow got out in the press. And even if it did get out to the press, they wouldn't run it. Did anybody hear about the NBC thing with NBC? So NBC had their first crack at Harvey Weinstein. NBC had all the information. They had all the information. They had him dead to rights, and they didn't run it. Well, Loki, why didn't they run it? Because they said, you don't have any witnesses. They said, we do. We do have witnesses. And we've got people willing to talk. And they said, nobody that anybody will believe. So, no. So, you had first crack at a story. The greater good. We were just talking about that the other day. The greater good. It's all for the greater good. Yeah. For the greater good, they killed the story. Can you imagine that? The biggest story of probably that year, maybe the decade, and you killed it because you didn't believe Rose McGowan and you didn't believe the other women that at that point had come forward. So you just killed it. You said there's no one to corroborate what we're being told. But there was. And they were like, well, nobody that nobody that the public would believe. This is where we live. Little blue communists. This is how we live. This is where we live. This is where we're at. The truth does not matter. All that matters is perception and people's perception of the truth. That's insane. Ironcaster, brother, thank you so much for your 22 months as a member. This one is just for you. We're going to send out the roll here this morning. Skull! The names have been changed to protect the guilty. Everybody wants to see the book, and the book's never going to see the light of day, right? Trump said he'll show it day one. He's got his people moving into position to take control of these parts of the government. So we'll see. We'll see if the big dog has the balls to just go here it is, here's the book, here's the list, here are the names and the pages, and just give everything. No redaction, no blacking out, no nothing. Just give it all. Give it all. Every name. Doesn't matter who it hurts. Doesn't matter if it hurts a Republican in office. Doesn't matter whether it hurts a Democrat in office. I don't care how many people in Hollywood are going to go down. I don't care how many people that, people could go all their lives without ever knowing blah, blah, blah. I'm sorry. I want to know if Tom Hanks is a diddler. That's what I want to know. I want to know if P. Diddy was there. I want to know who's there. I want names. Well, you aren't entitled. Yes, we are. You guys have been throwing your shit around that this person and this person is a meanie face, and you don't need any evidence whatsoever to cancel someone. You don't need to see that evidence. You don't need to see the messages. There was an internal investigation. No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, we do. We do. You want to ruin people's lives and you want to cancel them for the shit that they do. Now's time to buckle up, Buttercup. I don't care who is the villain. I don't care if it takes out the whole royal family. I don't care if there's 3 ex-presidents on that list. I don't care who is implicated. People need names. Why? Because children were involved. What do you do? What do you do with that information? You say, well, these girls were willing. These 11-year-old girls, they were willing. Excuse me? Excuse me? You don't understand how it works here, do you, mate? Them little 11-year-old girls were willing participants. A what? What was that? Baking powder? Yeah, mate, they were willing girls. No. 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 They were complicit, mate. No. 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 No 11-year-old kid is complicit. No 11-year-old kid is just going along with it. No 11-year-old kid makes a choice and decides that's what I want to be for the rest of my life. However short it is, as I'm getting railed by them. No. No 11-year-old girl has the faculties upstairs yet to understand. Do you know what that makes them? That makes them innocent. And you know what you do with innocence? You protect it. You guard it. You make sure no one screws with it. You make sure no one touches it. Why? Because it's an innocent kid. That kid didn't do anything to deserve that, period. That kid didn't decide the best thing I can do for me is to go to an island and be taken advantage of by celebrities and politicians. When Nancy Pelosi comes out on national TV and says, there's a lot of people that we love and care about on that list, that ought to tell you something. When the government comes out and says, how dare Elon say anything about anything? He should keep his mouth shut. When it involves you letting 11-year-old girls get railed by a bunch of strange men and just go, well, you know, it's her choice, mate. She made the decision. No, children don't make that decision. Children don't get to make that decision. Well, you see, mate, that's where our societies differ. Really? Huh? Really? So this is okay for you. This is all right. This is what you what you want. You know what you do? I think we need to call the ambassador and work this out. Nah, bitch. Shut the doors. No. 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 No, we're not playing this. No, shut the doors. Close the embassy. Next time you need help, no. But we need your money, mate. No. No. Not until this is taken care of. Not until this is finished. No. No, we don't play this game. Why? Because it's kids. I'm sorry, but you don't get to do that and not face some kind of inquiry, some kind of I'm sorry, it doesn't work that way. And if you think it does, if you think, well, we'll just blame Elon. It's all his fault. That's why we're having this argument, mate. No, we're having this argument because you turn your back on little girls to a community that looks at them like they deserve what's happening to them. You do understand how fucked up that is, right? What Six is talking about right here? By saying that they can choose their gender. At any age, at any time, you can just decide, this is what I want. Now, it'd be really interesting to flip the script here. Hey, mate, we're going to throw you in jail. We're going to throw you in jail and we're going to feed you to the Sharktacons, mate. You see, the Sharktacons, they're going to use you and they're going to haul you out because you're going to give your consent. Oh, you can't. Well, you will because they've got very large protrusions, mate. And they're going to take care of you. So, you know what? There was this thing. Even in prisons, there's this thing, right? There's this perception. Do you know what would absolutely ruin someone's day? If you called out the fact that they were a little kitty diddler, which you were not allowed to do, which I did the last day I was there. Funnily enough, there was a dude there that I knew. I looked up his stuff. Multiple little girls, and I called him out. It's my last day, and he threw a fit. He demanded the sergeant come down and deal with me, and da 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 da. And I've had enough, and I've done this, and I've done that. He comes down there and he listens to what he has to say, and listens. I want his badge. I want this, and he goes, "It's his last day. What am I going to do? Fire him with 1 hour to go? Is that what I need to do? Do you want to go home? You want to go home?" I'm like, I don't give a shit. He just stormed back off into his pod. Why? Because it's the last thing they want anybody to know. It's funny that the ones that don't want you to know are the ones that are going out of their way to try and do this and keep up with it. They're the ones who don't want you to know. So why would anyone try and hide what is happening unless they're complicit? Why would anyone try and prevent others from knowing the bullshit that's going on to these kids unless they have something to do with it? Unless they're part of the problem. Hundreds of young women's lives have been absolutely fucking trashed. And then you have people like Amber Turd and people like that who constantly want to take the limelight and abuse the system, but nothing ever happened to them, not for real. Yeah. Yeah. Ninja Turtles, Transformers. Transformers were kind of going out at that time. Ninja Turtles was big. I was worried about, whether I was going to get the Batmobile or the Batjet from the 89 Batman. These are the kind of things that kids need to be worried about. These are the kinds of things kids need to be thinking about. And you're still going to have people that say, you don't need to know. Get rid of these people from A to B. Get them out of government. Get them out of having access to kids. Get them out of all of it. The grooming. I can't believe they call it that. You know what you call grooming? You groom a horse. That is what you do. You groom a horse. Is anybody here? I mean, I was raised in Texas, so I was raised around horses. I rode horses when I was a kid. I did barrel runs all the time. How many of you here groomed a horse? You know what grooming means? Grooming's like cleaning it, taking care of it, making sure that it's raised right. Now you've got grooming gangs. You've got grooming gangs in the UK doing this crap. You've got grooming going on here in the US, but it's a totally different kind of grooming. Why would you call it that? Does anybody remember when they wanted you to walk in lines like cattle during the coup? Isn't it interesting that this is where we are at, where we talk about people and we treat people more like animals than we do human beings? Is this where you want to go? Is this where you want to be with all of this? I had an appy, and she was just the cutest thing. She was the cutest, most kind-hearted thing. If she didn't like you, she let you know she didn't like you. She'd bite the shit out of you. She'd bite at you. But if she liked you, oh, she came up, she let you know. She was like, oh, hello. Hello, human. Hello. She'd rubberneck on you, and you just couldn't help it. You just be like, good girl, good girl. She was beautiful. And like Six says about hers, about her thoroughbred, she looked amazing when you groomed her. You groom an animal. Do you know how disrespectful and distasteful you have to be to groom a human being? You know how fucked up it is to sit there. Some of these content creators are absolutely nuts. I saw one talking about how they were going to make sure that their kid was going to be LGBTQ plus, and how they were going to do it, how they were going to encourage it, how they were going to push it. I was under the impression that you were born this way, but it wasn't something that you could just make happen. Right? That's the big push. Is, oh, you were born this way. It's not something that you can just generate and make happen. Now, and by God, now we're going to do that. Cuba. We need more Cuba. Yes, thank you. Undead ramen. Fingernails and all. Maybe you'd like some torture for you and the little one. Change the language. Cis male. You cis male. Straight, white, male. Cis male. It'll change. Don't worry. That'll change. People worried that the pendulum is going to swing back so hard that it's going to knock people off their feet. Just wait, because I think it's going to be even worse than that. I really do. Once all this is said and done, because you have to understand that a lot of this is operated all because the press won't touch it. The press won't cover it. And if a magazine does come along and talk about it or cover it, they're labeled far right, whatever. They're immediately shot down by the rest of the press because reasons. You can't say that. You can't say that. So you get this wall of this far right newspaper, any startup that is starting up or anybody trying to come in and take the place of them is immediately shot down because they don't want the truth out there. All it takes is a free press. Well, guess what? The press isn't free. It is now owned, operated by these twisted fucks that you see out there eating their ice cream and oatmeal and smelling little girls' hairs. Sick fuck. We're getting out of here. Tomorrow will be better. Tomorrow we'll talk YouTube. Suddenly I have a desire to go kick a can down the street for the sake of DEI, diversity, and inclusion. That's what you get for all of your DEI, diversity, and inclusion is this shit. Congratulations. Congratulations. You push things so hard left that now all of the pedos and the groomers and the bullshit artists, that's all you got. That's all you're going to keep having. Guys, take care. Be excellent to each other. Always speak, print, and enter, and we'll do some YouTube talk tomorrow. No, you didn't get timed out. Why would you get timed out? 6. No, you did not get timed out. You're still here. Can still see you. Yeah. So, no. Guys, take care. Be excellent to each other. Always speak, print, and enter. Nothing got taken down unless it was YouTube. I've got both windows open. No mod touched you. No wrench touched you. 6. There's nothing that got taken down. Okay. Have a great one, everybody.
These videos are tremendous. Like, comment, and subscribe, and hammer that notification bell.